And we have reached question 93 under the topic of innovations. So that means we finished talking about the attributes. So the arrangement of the book is that it has three main segments. First segment is general refutation of Wahhabi creed, not talking about their proofs. Talk about their creed and their arguments. Second segment is for refuting their proofs, yani what they think is proof. The third segment is for, other than that, few more cases, which means the main topic of the book is to refute their paganism. But they still have some cases that need to be refuted after that. And the next topic after that was innovations. Question 93. What if he says that the hadith of good innovations is only for the companions? So the hadith of the good innovations. So for the Wahhabi, there's no hadith of the good innovations. There's only hadiths for bad innovations. So hadith of good innovations in our claim, which is correct. Which hadith is that? That's the hadith of Muslim. There's more than one really, but the one intended here is the narration of Muslim. Let's take a look at it. Man sanna fil islami sunnatan hasana falahu ajruha wa ajru man amila biha ila yawmil qiyamah la yanqusu min ujurihim shay' wa man sanna fil islami sunnatan sayyi'ah كان عليه وزرها ووزر من عمل بها إلى يوم القيامة لا ينقص من أوزارهم شيء. That's the hadith. So let's just take this piece of the hadith here that came up for us. من سن في الإسلام سنة حسنة. Whoever paved in Islam a good path. So Wahhabi is going to say this is not proof for good innovations. He might say this doesn't even mention innovations. So where's the proof that this is even about innovations? Man sanna sunnatan. So sunnah means a way. A way. That's the meaning of the word path here. A way. A sunnah is a way. And that is the source of the verb sanna. This way, that's the source of the verb sanna, past tense verb. So sanna literally means he made a way. He made a way. So now I'm rendering that into one word, past tense verb, paved. So it can go with the word path. Whoever paved the path. Man sanna sunnatan. Whoever made a way. If you want to use two different words, you could say whoever made a way. Man sanna fil islami sunnatan hasana. Whoever paved in Islam a good path. That's following the wording of the hadith too. Sunnatan hasana. A good path. So path here means way. Whoever made a good way in Islam. So making a way here means innovated. That's how it means innovation. So it means whoever innovated a good innovation. That's correct interpretation of the hadith. So what's the question here? What if he says that the hadith of good innovations is only for companions? That would be then, if he said that in the first place, that means he's confessing that this hadith proves that there's good innovations. Because there wouldn't be a need for him to restrict it to the companions if it didn't prove good innovations. Because, or else he's going to say, like they sometimes say, that doesn't even prove this good innovations. So if it doesn't prove that it's good innovations, why restrict it to the companions? So whenever a Wahhabi tells you, whenever he justifies an innovation for you, that that's the doing of a companion, don't let him get away with that. It's really such an underhanded thing to say, and very deceitful. If a Muslim heard that answer and took that answer because he thought, really, okay, so there's not good innovations. If there's not good innovations, how do you explain this? He said, well, it's for the companions. And then let's say he said, wow, okay, for the companions only. So he took it. Now look what he just did there. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. So he just confused this person, threw him into misguidance, or confusion at the least. But to answer the question, what if he says that the hadith of good innovations, what if he says that the hadith of good innovations is only for the companions? Easy answer, it doesn't say so. The hadith itself doesn't say so. It says whoever, men, whoever. So you don't need me to elaborate and say a lot of words there. It doesn't say so. And really, that's an answer a lot of times. People send me questions and they say, how do you answer someone who used this for their claim? And what they produce doesn't say actually what the person claims. So that's the first answer right there. Doesn't say what you said. So if he insists, but whoever here means companions, we'll say to him, but the word whoever is general though. You don't have any evidence to say that whoever here is only for the companions. So I think that's clear there. Okay. Question 94. Question 94. What if he says the hadith of good innovations is actually about reviving a prophetic practice? Meaning, what he's saying is, this hadith is about reviving a sunnah. Don't you see it says sunnah? See how twisted they are? So now he's trying to make you ignore that it says men, whoever. Yani, man sanna. Whoever he is sanna, he's the one who made the path. He's the one who paved the path. Man sanna sunnatan. This is the meaning. It means it's his way. He's the one who paved the path. Or else the Prophet is the one. So it's not referring to the Prophet's sunnah. But if he insists, then you just refer to the second half of the hadith. وَمَنْ سَنَّ سُنَّةً سَيِّئَةً. Anyone who paves an evil path in Islam. So what does it mean here? Now he's not going to say that's the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So you say, it says sunnah right there. Just like you say sunnah in the other part. That's what you said. Are you going to be consistent? I'm going to be consistent. Are you going to be consistent? So I'm going to say here, sunnah in the first part doesn't mean sunnah of the Prophet. Like it doesn't mean that in the second part of the hadith. You said sunnah means sunnah of the Prophet in the first part of the hadith. What about the second part of the hadith? You said it doesn't mean. So you're inconsistent. What's the hadith? Okay. So in the first part, in the first place, the hadith here in the book is presented in pieces and distributed for wherever, any amount that's needed to prove the point is what's in its place. So if you want the entire hadith, let me see something here. من سن في الإسلام سنة حسنة فله أجرها وأجر من عمل بها. Whoever paves in Islam a good path has its reward, and the reward of whoever practiced it. وَمَنْ سَنَّ فِي الْإِسْلَامِ سُنَّةً سَيِّئَةً كَانَ عَلَيْهِ وِزْرُهَا وَوِزْرُ مَنْ عَمِلَ بِهَا. And whoever paves in Islam an evil path, upon him is its sin and the sin of whoever practiced it. So it doesn't even have all of the words of the hadith in it. It's longer than that. So this is the hadith of good innovations. So you might say, this is about reviving a sunnah. Tell them la, because if that's about reviving sunnah, what about the second part of the hadith? Whoever paves in Islam an evil path. You'll say, no, not this part. Okay, why not? It says sunnah because the first time it's going to say, see, don't you see it say sunnah? You tell them, okay, the second part too says sunnah. So when he says, but this one's not about the sunnah of the Prophet, we say, likewise, just like it's valid here that it's not the sunnah of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wassalam. The first part too, it's not the sunnah of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wassalam. It's the sunnah of whoever did it. And that's exactly what the words mean. Man sanna fil Islami sunnatan hasana, on both sides. That's what the words mean on both sides. Man sanna fil Islami sunnatan hasana, wa man sanna fil Islami sunnatan sayyi'ah. So the first side doesn't mean whoever revives the Prophet's sunnah has its reward, and whoever starts an evil sunnah has its sin. That's Wahhabi perversion. So let me see here. Ahlan wa sahlan, ahlan wa sahlan. So here, looks like even 94, 93 could be switched. Yani, what if he says the hadith of good innovations is about reviving the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam? So right there means he's saying it's not about innovations in the first place altogether. So it's not a hadith of good innovations. The next question, what if he says it's only for the companions? Then that's his confessing really that it is a hadith that's about good innovations. Even if he denies that, those words, just for restricting it to the companions, that's why, because really he's contradicting himself. Wait. What's the next question here? What if he argues that the word bid'ah is not present in this hadith? Man sanna fil Islami sunnatan hasana. Whoever starts in Islam a good sunnah, then that's a weak argument. That one is a youngling. He's a baby Wahhabi. A Wahhabi baby. Doesn't matter if the word's not there. The meaning is clear. So when he says that, you can't let him take you off of there. You say that's your claim, and then you refute this claim till it's done. Or you don't go off of there yourself. Also, don't go off on a tangent and don't focus on your own point. Question 96. How do you answer Aisha's hadith? Now, notice also that we started these questions about innovations and we didn't even mention the hadith, وَكُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ. Is there a question in here about it? Well, that's interesting. Because Yani should be in here, as if there should be here a question. Well, what does the hadith وَكُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ mean? And this is an answer really that should be standard for any Sunni Muslim. Yani, if you're a Sunni Muslim and you want to defend the issue of bid'ah properly against Wahhabi lies, then this is obvious question, so you should be having then immediate answer. Because that's their main proof. So how you don't have a strong answer ready for that, and you want to debate this issue, So for them, this is the clearest proof. The hadith, وَكُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ. Every innovation is misguidance. You want to argue this, and every year you ask, for example, قد يقال, well, what does it mean? How do we explain it? So the answer is, there's two ways you can explain it. Either it means, and they basically mean the same thing. Either it means most innovations are misguidance. So kul means akthar, most. Or it means every innovation that doesn't comply with the rules of the religion. So then you can keep kul meaning every. But there's a restriction there. There's a restriction actually. Keep the word every if you want and add the restriction. Every innovation that doesn't comply with the rules of the religion is misguidance. Or the word every really means most. That's the proper way to explain the hadith. That's the answer. Yeah, and it's this way or that way. That's how you explain the hadith. So naturally, Wahhabi's not going to accept. Yani, maybe when a person is saying, what does this hadith mean? How do I explain the hadith? Maybe he means, how can I explain it to him in a way that he accepts? He doesn't accept. You have to tell him what it is. And he has to accept. So the hadith means most innovations are misguidance, or it means every innovation that doesn't comply with the rules of the religion is misguidance. So question 96, how do you answer Aisha's hadith? So what's Aisha's hadith? That's the hadith, Man ahdatha fi amrina hadha ma laysa minhu fahuwa radd. Whoever innovates in this affair of ours what does not comply with it, then he is rejected. Here's Aisha's hadith. So if you are in the discussion of innovations and then a hadith is cited as Aisha's hadith, this is Aisha's hadith in the topic of innovations. How do you answer this? This one is answered easier than you might think, because didn't I say there's more than one proof for good innovations in the hadith? This is one of them. This is really a proof for us. It's not a proof against us. Whoever, man ahdatha, he makes it happen. So that means innovate. We have here in the translation, invents. But there's another word in Arabic that people tend to translate as invent. It says ahdatha. So that pretty much means makes happen. Man ahdatha fi amrina hadha. Who makes something happen in this affair of ours? Ma laysa minhu, that it's not from it. That means doesn't comply with it. Fahuwa radd. Then he's rejected, or it is rejected. So how's that proof for us? Because the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, Ma laysa minhu. I'm just giving you the answers. I could be waiting for you to answer me. Ma laysa minhu. What does not comply with it? What's not from it means what does not comply with it. And the Wahhabi says, no, doesn't mean that. Yes, the mafhum of the hadith. That's right. What's understood from the hadith. That's true. If the Wahhabi says, no, it doesn't mean that, say, yes, it does. That's what's understood from it. Ma laysa minhu. Or else you'll be nullifying these words. The Wahhabi's understanding of this hadith nullifies these words that I've highlighted for you. What's not from it? Because what's understood from this hadith is whoever makes something happen in this affair of ours that is from it, فَلَيْسَ بِمَرْدُودٍ, then it's not rejected. That's what's understood from that. Understood means not stated. You have two things. Al-mantuq, what's pronounced, and al-mafhum, what's understood. Sometimes you might understand something that's pronounced, but that's not what's intended by what's pronounced. Not everything that's understood from something pronounced is what's intended by it, but still is understood. And here is understood, and it's intended too. Whoever invents something that does not comply with the rules of this religion of ours is rejected. Therefore, whoever invents something that does comply with the rules of this religion of ours is not rejected. Those two are the same. But the Wahhabi is blind. So that's how you answer the hadith of Aisha. Question 97. What if they say that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam already prayed tarawih? So there's no innovation here. What's that about? That is, as you know, that's about the story of Umar ibn al-Khattab. Now, you could answer this in different ways, but there's a way that I want to suggest for you here, which is to stick to the words of Umar, actually. You can't let him pull you off of a fact. This is a problem when, maybe you don't have a lot of experience, or maybe you're not good at this type of thing. You don't stick to your proof. Umar ibn al-Khattab said, Ni'matil bid'ah. What a good innovation. What a good bid'ah. So the Wahhabi is going to tell you every reason why this doesn't mean innovation. So, no, he said bid'ah. How does it mean innovation? So Wahhabi is going to say, we have question 98. What if he says that the linguistic meaning of bid'ah is revival? And Umar only meant what a good revival of the Sunnah. So, according to what I'm saying to you, he got to question 98 because you stuck to your guns on question 97. Question 97, what if they say that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam already prayed tarawih? So there's no innovation here. Because it might seem like what I just told you is evading his question. But that's not evading his question. That's a trap. Oh, that's a trap, because trying to take you off the fact that Umar said bid'ah. So what he's doing, he's really changing the subject. He doesn't maybe think he is, but he is. If you follow him, you will let him. If you follow him here, then you're going to get off of the fact that Umar said bid'ah. You're going to stop arguing the fact that Umar said the word bid'ah here. Then you're going to start arguing about what did the Prophet pray, alayhi salatu wassalam. So there's two different arguments. That's how that's how you wind up arguing with a Wahhabi for hours and not getting anywhere. What do you want to argue here? That the Prophet prayed something, alayhi salatu wassalam, and it's not what Umar did? Or you want to argue what Umar said? Because that's where you started. You're going to say to him, but Umar said, Ni'matil bid'atu hadhi, what a good bid'ah this is. Or Ni'mal bid'atu hadhi, same meaning. So that means that there's such a thing as a good bid'ah. He said it explicitly. So those words are so explicit that now the Wahhabi has to just be in his attempt so explicit, which is to just literally gaslight you to the ultimate degree here and say, no, it doesn't mean even bid'ah. He said that word, but that's not what he meant, though. he might as well be wiggling his fingers at you, or maybe he's trying to do what you call Jedi mind trick on you. That's not what's meant here. He's waving his hand. He didn't mean bid'ah here. So can't let any of that work on you. Not just here, anywhere, in any discussion. So here, what if they say that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam already prayed tarawih, so there is no innovation here? What I might do is not respond to this, but to say, but Umar said good bid'ah. That's either he's going to have to accept that Umar said that, or he's going to resort to question 98. So he has to accept that Umar said it because it's confirmed. So he would say, well, you're ignoring my point. I'm telling you, it doesn't mean bid'ah because the Prophet ﷺ did this prayer. So it can't be a bid'ah. That's impossible. So I would say to him, no, it's not impossible because that's what he called it. That means, in other words, there's something you're missing. You're the one who's missing something, not that it doesn't mean bid'ah. So now if he says, well, what does it mean then? Nah, that's different. Now you're asking me. You're not telling me. So he said, well, what does it mean then? What does it mean then? Then I would say it means what I just told you. So if like he said, no, I mean, actually is the bid'ah? Where is the bid'ah? So then you tell him the story, which is that the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, he did pray in Jama'ah with the people in the Ramadan night prayers for some nights, and then he stopped coming out. Before that, without the Prophet coming out to them, they were praying in scattered groups, alayhi salatu wassalam. They were praying in scattered groups. A person here, a Jama'ah there, etc. The Prophet came out to them, alayhi salatu wassalam, they prayed with him. And then he did that again, they prayed with him. After that, he stopped coming out, and then they went back to what they were doing. He stopped coming out so that it doesn't become obligatory on them by the repetition. So they went back to the way they were doing it, like I just described to you. So now, from right there, if Wahhabi is really true to what he's saying, then that means, should anyone change it after that? That's how it stayed until the Prophet died, and that's how Abu Bakr left it. So right there, should it stay like that, or should you do it a different way? Now I'm asking you, Wahhabi. Should it stay like that, or you should do it a different way? That's how they stayed when the Prophet died, alayhi salatu wassalam. That's how they did it until he died, and then Abu Bakr left it like that. So now what you're going to say? So if you say to me, well, it should leave it like this, say, okay. So then when they didn't leave it like the way the Prophet left it, and then Umar told them, do it like this, then that means there was a bid'ah. So he said, but the Prophet prayed, though, say, okay, I might say to him, which might not be convincing for him, but I might say to him, you need to blame the shortcoming of your own mind here. Blame the shortcoming of your own mind here. Because in the other way, if it's not the shortcoming on your part, then you're basically saying Umar ibn al-Khattab doesn't know how to talk right about the religion or use the Arabic language. Because bid'ah doesn't mean what you are supposing. Which is right here. Question 98. He's going to say, well, here's the question. What if he says that the linguistic meaning of bid'ah is revival? So he's going to say, the linguistic meaning of bid'ah is revival. Now, we read those references in the dictionaries several times. I probably have it recorded on my YouTube, like 3 different videos. So I'm not going to read all of those now. So easy answer is show me a reference. He can't show you anything. Only thing he can show you is some Wahhabi clown who said in his book, for example, The linguistic meaning of bid'ah is revival. I never even saw it written, personally. That's what they say. I didn't see them write that. Because what they're going to say in Arabic. The linguistic meaning of bid'ah is ihya. That's a lie, though. Even if they said that, even if they wrote that, that's a lie. So if he wrote that, then he still has to show you reference. Let's say he showed you, look, this is what Ibn Uthaymeen said, or any Wahhabi in some book that they call it proof because it's their book. They're going to call it proof, dalil. It's not dalil, that's what they're going to call it, though. So if they showed you anything, you say to him, but where did he get this from? This is your lie. This is the lie of your sect. Can you show me anything classical? Can you show me anything undisputable? Don't show me your Wahhabi sheikh from 20 years ago who wrote that. Do you have anything from the Salaf that you claim to follow? Or even from after the Salaf from centuries ago, though? No. Anyway, no, you don't. Because it's not true. Bid'ah doesn't mean that. Yani, okay, I'll show you then. Quickly then. Here in the dictionary, al-ain. I'll just read the English, and maybe not all of it. Bada'. Yani, ba, dal, ain. Bada'. These are variations of the word. The initiation of something previously unknown, nor did it have any previous creation or mentioning. Allah is the badi' of heavens and earth, their starter. Bid'ah is the first of anything. Bid'ah is the name of what was innovated in religion or otherwise. That's one dictionary. And then we have another dictionary here. You see the point? And another one right there. And another one right there. They all say the same thing. So it's a lie. He's committing this lie because he has to, Yani, from his perspective. There's nothing he can do here but blatantly lie to you in your face. This is a bold-faced lie right here. The linguistic meaning of bid'ah is revival. So, since that's a bold-faced lie, that means then for sure, when Umar ibn al-Khattab said, "Ni'mal bid'ah," what a good bid'ah, he was not saying a revival. He was talking about the bid'ah we're talking about. There is a such thing as a good innovation. And if you haven't conceived, what is that? Because the Prophet prayed, so he prayed in Jama'ah at his time, so something became confusing for you, then blame that on the shortcoming of your own mind. Don't accuse Umar ibn al-Khattab of not knowing how to speak Arabic. And don't accuse Umar ibn al-Khattab of calling the Prophet's Sunnah a bid'ah. He says, so would they say that about the Hadith, kullu bid'atin dalalah? No, they're not going to say that. They're going to say the Hadith, wa kullu bid'atin dalalah, means every innovation is misguidance religiously, not linguistically. And the statement of Umar, ni'matil bid'ah, he means linguistic bid'ah, not religious. But that's a lie because it's saying that it means something that it doesn't even mean in the language. You said, would it be a proof against them? I wouldn't use it like that because what they're basically doing is saying, it's like, for example, didn't Allah say, وَلَكِنْ قُولُوا أَسْلَمْنَا? The Bedouin said, we have believed. Say, Muhammad, you have not believed. Rather say, we have submitted. So we say, submitted here means the linguistic meaning, not the religious meaning. So it means they outwardly submitted. So that's what he's doing. He's saying, and Umar's statement, he's saying bid'ah, but it doesn't mean religious meaning, means linguistic meaning. But it doesn't mean that linguistically what he's saying. So, yani, that's why I wouldn't bring this hadith to prove that. So I'm just going to say, but that doesn't mean that linguistically. I think the point's clear there. Question 99. Did the companions do anything new while the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was alive? Answer, yes. Like what? Like the hadith of the man who came up from ruku' and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, as the Imam, Sami'a Allahu liman hamidah, and the man said in the rank, Rabbana lakal hamd, and he added, Hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fih. He didn't take that from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He added that, and the Prophet approved. Yani, just to keep it short here, the Prophet approved alayhi salatu wasalam. So then that leads to next question. What if he says this is not a bid'ah because the Prophet approved it? So then I'd say to him, like I said to a Wahhabi, who at the time I considered a big Wahhabi, I said to him, what was it before the Prophet approved it? What was his answer to me? He said, the answer to this is impossible. It's impossible to answer that question. That's how stubborn he was. He literally said to me, if it were possible to answer this question, then the answer would be that this man did a good innovation, but good innovations are impossible. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. So that's a proof. Or else, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam could have said to that man, Salli kama ra'aytani usalli. Pray like you saw me pray. Isn't that what the Prophet said? Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Pray like you have seen me pray. Isn't that the hadith Wahhabis always quote to you? Question. Did the companions introduce anything new into the religion after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The answer is yes. So you have your list ready. Like what? Like here we have list. Let's see. Compiling the Quran into a single mushaf. Now I want you to notice something in the wording here. Did the companions introduce anything new? The answer is yes. And compiling the Quran into a single mushaf, that does fall under there. But some scholars said, we don't say the mushaf is a bid'ah, but they meant this is not the manners. This is not etiquette. But they didn't mean to deny the fact that it was something new after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the Prophet didn't tell them to do also. And the story itself is clear. Yani, what did Abu Bakr say to Umar when he suggested it? You want to do something that the Messenger of Allah didn't do? That's what the Wahhabis say to us. You want to do something that the Messenger of Allah didn't do? And then Umar convinced him to do something that the Messenger of Allah didn't do. We try to convince the Wahhabi, you could do something that the Messenger of Allah didn't do. He won't accept. But Abu Bakr accepted. And then they summoned Zayd. And they told him. And then Zayd said to the both of them, you too want to do something that the Messenger of Allah didn't do? Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Exactly what the Wahhabis ask us. They said in response to Huwa wallahi khayr. This doing something that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam didn't do, it is by God good. And then they convinced him. And then they did it. So, yeah, that's one. So right here, that's to say here under question 101, that's why the question is worded this way. It doesn't say bid'ah in particular, although that's really is the meaning. This is just there's an attempt to observe a certain etiquette here because of putting the mushaf, mentioning the mushaf here. But Sheikh Samir was asked, rahimahullah, is compiling the mushaf a good bid'ah? He said, Kayfa la? How would it not be? And two, basing the Islamic calendar on the migration of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Review that for yourself. Making an army reserve with registered soldiers. An additional adhan called for Friday prayer. So 2 adhans on Friday along with the iqamah. That means there was 3 calls. They made 3 calls on Friday. 2 adhans and an iqamah at dhuhr time. And question 102 while we're here. Last question, inshallah. What if he says the Wahhabis don't call the extra adhan? So the answer is that's only after they were made aware of the fact they were doing a bid'ah. Not to mention that they can't deny the fact that it's a bid'ah. They will try, actually. We're going to save that for next week, inshallah. How would they deny it's bid'ah? So you can't let them get away with that. You can't let them contradict themselves and then move on. Of course it's bid'ah if the Prophet didn't do it, alayhi salatu wassalam. Then they're going to say, but he was companion. So here, remember, that answer right there is really proving your point. But he was a companion. Why are you saying that? Because it's bid'ah. Wallahu alam. Any question?